we had 9 cars start this race. We're taking 8 into the main event. You just got to beat one other race car.
For sure, and that's the way to make your way into the race. The way the championship works, if you can keep your car in the top 30 in points and you're able to scoot away here with a win, that'll lock you into the championship 10 contenders. So definitely an opportunity for some of these drivers, maybe having some early mishaps in these heat races to kind of get around some of these wrecked race cars. And it's going to be, you got to kind of look at it big picture. There you can see the 51 going another lap down, but he's currently in that 8th position, and he's a lap ahead of the 02 of Matt Egan, so he's holding on for dear life. He wants to qualify in to this main show, the Raze Energy 150 here tonight.
And Matt Egan is currently sitting on pit road, Paul, the 02 car. I don't know if he's got required repairs or not. I would think the car that the leaders just passed, that 51 car of Anthony Bello, I would think he'd have to have required repairs to that race car, so he might get a meatball, but it might be the difference. If he gets disqualified, he's likely going to be scored in behind the 02, so we'll see how this develops for that, what would be a transfer position. We don't usually talk about 2 wrecked race cars sitting on pit road going for a transfer spot, but it might very well be the way it shakes out. Leaders go by the 15 car, I believe that was a Duke Conrad, to put him 1 lap down, so now 6 cars remain on the lead lap, and the next one up is Jimmy North, and they're coming up on him quick.
It's really going to come down to who or how many laps the 51's able to make under green here. He may very well get that meatball flag out, but if he doesn't have to come down pit road and he doesn't give the 02 2 laps here to get around him, he may very well be okay in that 8th position, just kind of putting around the track. But up front still, Tyler Hallahan and Jamie Dobbs are kind of hooked up together. They're not really pushing the issue. They know unless something happens here where there's a mechanical issue or something along those lines, they've pretty much made their way into the Raze Energy Drink 150. 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks up in the air for the first heat race of the night.
And you might be asking, it's a super speedway race. Why are we watching 2 cars? Well, these are the only 2 cars that are running together right now. Everybody else is by themselves trying to get what they can get. Eugene Vernon, the last time, bypassed Eric Laurie for position number 3, but Laurie is damaged. He's fallen off the pace of Vernon. So the only 2 race cars that are running together right now are your top 2, Tyler Hallahan and Jamie Dobbs, as they work through corners number 3 and 4 this time. They'll come up and see the white flag at the start-finish line. Hallahan has 1 more lap. He puts a lap on the 31 car, I believe that was, going by and behind. That might have been Anthony Bello in the 51, and indeed it is. White flag flies for the 33 of Tyler Hallahan. Final lap.
Thundering down into turn number 1. No real pressure there for the 33. Jamie Dobbs sees that he is pretty much a shoe-in for this race. Going to qualify in through heat race number 1. These 2 drivers, Hallahan and Dobbs, have no pressure. They've got a 17-second lead over Eugene Vernon, who had that little bit of a mishap there earlier on. There you see a little bit of a challenge there. Jamie Dobbs peaks high and shoots down low, has a bit of a run, big run, gets up to the front bumper of that race car. Hallahan almost seems like he lets him go, slides back down to the number 2 position, gets right up on the bumper. He's going to try and shoot up high to see if he can maybe get a run to the finish. It's going to be a barn burner here, drag race down to the start-finish line in the center of the front stretch. Going to hand that over to, that was too close for me to call with the naked eye. I think it went to the 33.
Looks like it's going to be Tyler Hallahan picking up the win there by 0.05 of a second over Jamie Dobbs. You see the results on your screen as they go by. Dude Conrad being scored as 8th place, and the final driver to make here, check that, 7th. Anthony Bello, final driver to make his way in 2 laps down in position number 8. Matt Egan did not get back out on the racetrack with that required repair. He is going to finish in position number 9, and the only driver to not make the feature through this heat race. So we'll get ready to line up heat race number 2 here in just a moment. And there are actually a couple of big names in this second heat race that did not make it in through qualifying. We talk about the snake feature, the snake heat races to qualify. The fastest driver goes into heat 1, the second fastest driver goes into heat 2, so on and so forth. So it's just the way it shook down, Paul. But once we get the final couple of cars across the stripe here, and I believe that might have been the last one, will go for heat race number 2. And look at this lineup. There's some big names in here.
Yeah, right up front, the Tide Ride, number 10, Richard Beasley, going to start on the pole, and outside of him, Daniel Falkingham. And just looking through this entire field here, Big names, you are right. Matthew Baker, Chad Cole going to be in a row number 2. Josh Cox starting 5th. The champ, Jarrett Bulliard's going to start 6th. He's going to have to race his way in to the big show here tonight. Randy Yoakum in the 8 car, he's going to start 7th. Jonathan Goke, another fast car, the number 24, he's going to be starting 8th. And Michael Sharp rounding out the field in 9th. So 9 drivers attempting this heat race number 2. 8 drivers are going to come race their way into the main show. 1 driver is going to go home and have to watch the race on Vidane TV.
And you look at those 9 drivers, who do you take out? There's some stout names in here. And you mentioned last season's champion, Jarrett Bulliard. If something does happen that he has a misstep, he might very well miss the show here. So he's got to keep it clean. We saw it in that last heat race that one small misstep is going to put you out. I believe we're being joined by the point leader, Wes Hogue. Wes, I know you don't like to talk about points, but you've had an opportunity to sit back here and watch a couple of heat races. What are your thoughts so far?
I'm not getting anywhere near any of these rascals. This is going to be a crazy event. If you're tuning in, you're not going to want to switch the channel once we get to the feature. Some pretty cool paint schemes out here as well, but for those not familiar with these cars, bump drafting is non-existent. If you touch a car in the bumper, there's a good chance he's going to get sideways one way or another. So you got to be extra careful out here tonight, Tim. And cool that I know what the racing going to be is. I made it 1,000ths of a second into the show, but man, the strategy is just going to stay out of the way.
We've run some crazy combinations here this season. We saw the 87 car where the thing gets light going into the corner, and we've been to iRacing SuperSpeedway, but what do you think about this combination compared to what we've run before? Is it as crazy as some of the combinations we've seen? What kind of show is it going to put on tonight?
Honestly, it's going to come down to patience here, Tim. The other ones were pretty crazy because they were a little bit more new to us. We didn't know what to expect. The handling wasn't there. With these cars, the handling is there. We have a pretty cool damage model. The draft isn't too bad, but at the same time, you really have to be patient and you have to be careful of your competitors around you. One tap of the bumper to one of these cars, it's going to cause a big one. No matter where you're at in the pack, you're going to collect others with you. So we just saw that in that first heat race. So one turn of the wheel and the majority of the field was taken out. So be on the lookout for multiple big ones in this one, folks.
We'll see if these guys can get through 8 laps clean. Pace car is off. It's Richard Beasley and Daniel Falkingham on the front row. 2 teammates going to see the green flag first. We are underway for 8 laps. And Wes, we saw it in the first heat that it got crazy about 2 laps in, and it ended up with a couple of drivers just trying to limp their way to the finish. What do you think out of this heat? There's some big names in here.
Yeah, Jonathan Cook, of course, won. We're already seeing a little bit of contact up front with Beasley and Falkingham. Typically don't see Falkingham in these qualifying races, however, qualifying didn't go the way we wanted. But we have Bulliard here, the Vidane Racing Champion, with Cook right on his bumper, running 3x3, and a little bump there by Beasley. You're seeing it just takes the smallest bit of contact here, Tim, to get one of these cars out of control.
Josh Cox is currently the odd man out at the back of this field. Your top 8 have got that lead draft in the 06, just trying to hold on right now at the very back as they come by this time. They'll complete 1 lap. Richard Beasley in second, pushing Daniel Falkingham, the outside, belonging to Chad Cole. And the 79 of Jarrett Bulliard as they come down the front straightaway into corner number 1. Falkingham seems to have the advantage, but Chad Cole on the outside has that push from behind.
You have to remind yourself here, guys, that this is just a heat race. You don't have to win it. Winning it really means nothing except you're a little bit better of a starting position. So as a competitor, it's hard to tell yourself that, not to go for the win, but this is big picture racing here. All but one will move on, and right now everybody's in that catbird seat. Where right now Josh Cox is that one driver out, Tim, but at the same time, he might have the best seat in the house watching how close these guys are racing just for a transfer spot.
So if you're sitting yourself in one of these race cars, would you rather be where Matthew Baker is in the 5, watching these 2x2x2 in front of you? Or would you rather be Daniel Falkingham leading the field?
You know, depending on the situation, if I'm the points leader, I'm in this spot. My confidence, I'm Josh Cox here until about 2 to go. I keep myself in arm's length of the driver that is in front of me so I know I can strike when needed, but I also want to make sure that I don't mix it up where I don't need to, and I'm in a safe spot where when the big one happens, I got room to work around it.
See that outside line starting to make a little bit of headway. Bulliard on the back bumper. The 17 of Chad Cole, not to that bumper. No bump drafting per se, but enough to give him a little bit of momentum down the back straightaway. But now they come towards the front, and it's going to be Daniel Falkingham getting that momentum on the the inside. Check that. 3 laps completed. As they continue to work around here. The 5 of Matthew Baker is kind of falling off the pace a little bit of the top 6, kind of keeping at arm's length, as you mentioned, Wes, and then in behind those other 2 of Michael Sharp and Josh Cox. Still trying to do the same thing, waiting for a mistake up in front of them.
Another important thing to see in this feature we're going to have tonight is these fast drivers, such as a Falkenham, that work their way to the front. I don't know Daniel to be the type that just ride around in the back. I've never seen him do that before in iRacing. Even though he's going to be starting in the back, don't expect him to be back there long, but also what havoc could that cause on his way to the front. I know myself, if I see him coming up, it's lap 3 or 4, I'm just going to let him go at that point.
Come across the stripe now, and Daniel Falkingham will continue to lead this thing, and little bit of disconnect on that outside line. It was 3 tucked up tight together, now it's 2, and Matthew Baker going to the outside, trying to make something happen, get up to the outside and begin to make your move towards the front of the field, or a little bit closer towards the front. It's not going to get you anywhere per se, Wes, other than a couple of positions closer to the front when we go feature racing, but with 60 laps, they got plenty of room to work. Now your top 8, those would be your transferees, side by side by side by side, as they work through corner number 4.
As we know, your starting position really doesn't mean much at a super speedway. Either the leader here or you're finishing 8th. The goal is to transfer, so you don't want to be that last car crossing the start-finish line on lap 8 here as we come across the free to go. If I'm Jared Bulliard, and I know how Jared is, he's a pretty cautious guy. He's not going to push the limit on that outside. That's why you're seeing this inside really start to form and pull away a little bit. Jared's not going to push the issue, nor should he. He knows how to big picture race.
Big picture racing, and that's exactly what it looks like he's doing right now on that outside line. The top 4 really haven't moved since we dropped the green flag. It's been Falkingham and Beasley leading that inside. It's been Chad Cole and Jarrett Bulliard on the outside. A couple of the drivers near the back of the field have kind of swapped a couple of positions. We've seen the 5 of Baker go from kind of riding along and following along to being up there on that outside line, waiting to pick up a couple of spots. And now that accordion starts to come a little closer. Here comes Josh Cox. That is the 1 car out right now with a lap and 3/4 to go as they work through corners 1 and 2.
Your Josh Cox, now's the time to go. Now's the time to hop up on that outside, get the run on the inside up to Sharp, hop on that outside, try to get the momentum to pick up that 1 position. These cars, Tim, do not have that same suck-up that you might see in a cup car or the truck. You don't get to the bumper as quickly on the car in front of you as you see the inside open up there for a second and the door shut by Sharp right away. You have to make this move, and now if you're Josh Cox, you got to make it now as you see him from top to bottom trying to make that happen with the white flag out.
Where do you make that move, though? Do you force it 3 wide? Do you try to pick up a spot in the middle of this pack? You got to do something. You got to pass 1 car. That's all you need if you're Josh Cox. You need 1 car or somebody to make a mistake up in front of you and make sure you're not a part of that mistake. As they work down the back straightaway, final lap, Falkingham in control.
All 9 cars basically under a blanket here within not even a tenth of each other, I would say. As they come through 3 and 4. If Cox is going to do something, he has to do it now, and he does. He gets into Sharp goes flying to the wall. He is going to be out of it. Josh Cox looks like he's going to be moving on. We'll see if administrative admins do anything about that. But wow, coming across the line in first, the Ruby Falkenham. Big story though. Cox running into the feature. With that being said, I need to go strap in.
We'll let you get back and get in the race car. Our point leader, Wes Ho, going to get in his race car and join the field. You see the top 9 on your screen. The top 8 will make their way into this show, which we are getting ready to go racing for. Field beginning to grid for the Raze Energy 150. It's going to be led by Gabe Butler as we go racing. And actually, they've got a 5-minute warm-up session, Paul. I'm ahead of myself.
Giving these drivers just another opportunity to kind of basically feel out their race cars, make sure everything is hooked up correctly, and you want to definitely practice your pit road entry and exit at this point as well. Especially the drivers that qualified in through the heat races have to figure out where your pit crew is on pit road, and you can definitely see that these drivers are going to be practicing for green flag pit stops. We've had it happen many, many times in this series here on Vidane TV, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. You can see Richard Beasley qualified his way in, finished in the top 5 in heat race number 2, and he's going to make this field. A lot of big-time names, big-time fast drivers in this series here, Tim.
Yeah, this is the opportunity that if you want to go grab a Raze energy drink or a cold beverage of whatever you want to drink here this evening, perfect opportunity to do so. And Paul, for Raze Energy, we're a part of the Raze Energy family here on Vidane TV. They got the code on their screen. What do they got to do to get 15% off?
Shoot over to repsports.com. There's 2 P's, R-E-P-P sports.com. And at checkout, use the promo code of Vidane TV. Get yourself 10% off, and it's 15% off. Check that. I don't even know my own promo codes at this point. It's been a long week here at Vidane TV. But very, very excited to have Raze Energy on board. And as you made mention, Tim, they've kind of joined the Vidane TV family here. So lots of cool stuff. They got the energy drink, the energy powder, the pre-workout powder. They even have some sleep aid stuff that's got the melatonin in it. Usually, I'm all sorts of amped up after doing the broadcast here on Vidane TV, so I'll mix up a packet of that. Helps me sleep a good solid 8 hours at night, and lots of protein powder and all that good stuff. Pretty cool t-shirts with some logos on them, too. So be sure to check that out. Again, repsports.com. Get you some Raze Energy. Use promo code Vidane TV for 15% off.
So the field getting a couple of moments to practice their race cars, kind of shake down the draft a little bit, try to figure out who they're going to dance with early in this race. And about 2.5 minutes left into this session before we throw the green flag. Paul, you've been here for every race so far this season. What do we expect at Daytona with these ARCA cars? Obviously, Wes said they're a little bit loose. You can't bump draft with them. Is there anything else that we can throw at these fans that are watching on Vidane TV before we throw the green flag at them?
Yeah, you'll notice there's a lot of updates with the damage models, so you can see these cars, even if they get a little bit of a tap, you can see that some of the quarter panels and the sheet metal rips off, which is a neat thing that iRacing has put into the service with these cars. And they did change them mid-season or so. They drive a little bit differently. They tweak the tires just a little bit, so there's the little bit of an air gap. A lot of drivers they'll make mention of it. It's kind of tough to get right on the back bumper of somebody without spinning them out, and you can actually kind of get real close to the wall. There's a little bit of an air pocket between the wall and the race car as well. So, going to be interesting. These cars, they do definitely enjoy the pack racing, and some of the drivers have kind of mastered the not so much a bump drafting, but the tandem draft with 2 cars. If they're able to get hooked up, and they spend a lot of practice time, a lot of practice laps working on that. So. A lot, like I said earlier, before the heat races kicked off here, Tim, lots of different strategies here at Daytona tonight.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot, especially over 60 laps where the caution flags fall, where everything happens on this racetrack, and with 43 drivers that are going to start this race, everything is going to happen quite quickly as we work race number 6 of this 2020-2021 season. And looking at the points, you mentioned a little bit earlier that we're going to take 10 to the championship. Win and you're in, but Wes Hogue finished second a couple of times in this championship for the Vidane SuperSpeedway Series. Got a 5-point lead on Kevin Brown. Kevin Brown's already got his win, though. He's already locked in. You got Chad Cole, Aaron Smith, Daniel Falkingham, your top 5 in the point standings as they run. Still looking for the win if you're anybody but Kevin Brown in that top 5. Bobby Wetzel, Raymond Reitnauer, the second, Jonathan Goke, E.J. O'Rourke, and Stefan Marinick. Your top 10, and of those, E.J. O'Rourke, I believe, and Stefan Marinick both have wins. Obviously, E.J. O'Rourke, one of the Super Speedway Kings, let's put it that way, on iRacing. Glad to see him out here, and I think he qualified about mid-pack for this one, so he's got a little bit of work to do. E.J. O'Rourke will start in 16th.
Yeah, championship battle really starting to heat up. Halfway through this race will put us halfway through the season. 11 races, going to bring it right down to the wire. And we did announce Monday night during the NEPS race, the Grand National Series, brought to you by NEPS brought to you by Shift Marketing and Design, easy enough for me to say. We did finally confirm a date with Rent-A-Racecar for championship night at Stafford Motor Speedway. Going to have Jarrett Bolliard, last year's champion. He wasn't able to make it to the track due to the COVID-19 pandemic and all the travel restrictions and all that nonsensical stuff. So we're going to have both champions, Jarrett Bolliard and the winner of this series championship here in 6 or 7 weeks. Whichever driver comes home with the championship, they're going to get that gorgeous championship belt, and they're going to get the opportunity to race a street stock at Stafford Motor Speedway in a race at the track, and really looking forward to that. We did finally concrete and ink the date for June 11th, Friday night, June 11th in Stafford Motor Speedway. Vidane Racing Championship night, champion versus champion, driver versus driver, belt versus belt, and really looking forward to that. It's going to be a big-time weekend. We're hoping that everybody here from Vidane TV, Vidane Racing, SIM500, everybody that really supports us, come out to the track, come out to Stafford Speedway, and camp out with us for the weekend, because the very next night, on Saturday, June 12th, right there at Stafford Speedway, the very first inaugural race for Tony Stewart's and Ray Evernham's series, the SRX series, going to be racing at Stafford Speedway that Saturday night too. So going to hang out, have some adult beverages, and crown us a champion, and do some street stock racing, and then kind of sit back and watch some SRX racing.
Interesting development as we roll the cars off. The 3 of the top 4 did not answer the call to the grid. So Gabe Butler, Kevin Freese, and Travis Turnmeyer will start either from pit road, or they will not start at all. I see Butler's on pit road. Kevin Freese is on pit road. Do not see the 54 car yet to enter the sim, so that will put the pole position to Chad Coleman in the 38 car. To the outside, it'll be Dwight Beverly, who was scheduled to start 6th, will now start 2nd. Jeff Ryan and Thomas O'Leary the 4th, along with, I believe that's Brian Macklin, unofficially your top 5. And Paul, would it be strategy to start on pit road, back of this field, wait for something to happen in front of you?
Definitely a possibility. We heard Wes make mention that's his primary goal here tonight. Stay away from everybody. Wants to make sure that he stays out of the way. A lot of these drivers are hungry. Haven't raced in a couple of weeks due to the holidays. We took some time off, and some of these drivers had time to practice. Others may not have. So going to be, may very well be a little bit tangly here, as Mike in the Rock, Mike James likes to say here on Vidane TV from time to time. But we're looking forward to it. Action-packed race here at Daytona for the Raze Energy 150.
We mentioned ARCA cars. We did have Brent Roy stumble into the booth, but I think he's going to join us here in just a bit. He's getting everything ready to go as the pace car will pull down pit road and leave the field in command with former eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver Chad Coleman in the 38. Pace car is in, Coleman in command. Green flag is out, and we're underway for the Raze Energy 150. Coleman leads him across the stripe with Dwight Beverly to the outside. We'll see how all of these drivers shake out and see if they can find a place to race. 60 laps, long way around here.
And there you can see all those drivers on pit road, Tim. They did just leave pit road as the green flag came out. Absolutely a strategy move. Those drivers are going to try and hook up, stay out of the lead draft, and try and stay out of trouble here. 60 laps on the board. First one in the books, just about halfway on that first lap. You can see Chad Coleman back down to second. When Dwight Beverly has the lead outside, but how long can he hold on to it?
E.J. O'Rourke through the middle. The 41 car going to go to the middle groove. He's to the outside of the black number 3 car. That is Jeff Ryan to the inside of Bill Schoonover. Great run for Bill Schoonover in qualifying. He's going to slide his way into the 4th spot on the outside line. Going to let E.J. O'Rourke fall into line behind O'Leary, but EJ already up from what was supposed to be a 16th place starting position. Number might be a little bit skewed, Paul, but he's up to position number 5 in the Gary Mercer Trucking number 41. Continues to push in front.
Sparks flying here the nighttime at Daytona International Speedway, letting the tire pressures kind of build up, getting these cars up off of the pavement. And you can see EJ, you made mention the 41, doing a solid job up on the top side, really picking these positions off and trying to find where he's comfortable. And he's one of the drivers definitely likes to race aggressively, and not too aggressively where he's taking people out, but you'll be able to see that he's going to try and put on a show here.
Former B-Fix champion, and he's won a ton of races here at SIM500 throughout his career, and trying to win one more here this evening to become a 2-time winner in the 2020-21 season for the Vidane SIM500 SuperSpeedway Series presented by Rent-A-Racecar. Dwight Beverly scored as your leader the last time by. Chad Coleman trying to pull Jeff Ryan along with him to the inside. I believe Brent Roy is hooked up and ready to go. Brent, you got us?
I think so.
You like these ARCA cars. When's the last time you drove them at Daytona?
I haven't driven a Daytona race, but these guys are putting on one heck of a show. I think I'm going to have
Well, you got Kyle Casagrande and a couple of those Neps guys running around here as well. So, Paul, if we looked at Kyle Casagrande, we'd have to look back at 27th place right now. You can kind of see him on the top of the screen as he continue to work around here. Chad Coleman to the inside continues to try to take that low line to the lead, but now there's a little bit of a disconnect to the inside. E.J. O'Rourke trying to push the O'Leary machine, and not push, but try to give him a little bit of encouragement. But Brian Macklin is all over the back bumper of E.J. O'Rourke as they run down the back straightaway. You don't really want to bump with these race cars, Brent, but it looks like these guys are putting on a pretty good show so far. No, not to jinx it, but no cautions through 4 laps.
Yeah, no, they're definitely minding their P's and Q's, and the biggest thing with these guys is or these cars is you get up in there and get in that bubble behind it, and you want to get 6-10 inches off the bumper and really transfer that energy, and these guys are doing an excellent job of that.
We raced a couple of weeks back with Chad Coleman in the TCM series, running in position. What would be number 2 right now, leader of that inside line? What kind of scouting report can you give on Chad Coleman?
Man, that guy can talk just about as fast as that car can go. But man, he's a pretty good wheel man and one of the best pushers out there. I know he's going for the lead here right now as they're getting 3 wide back in the pack here, looking at 4 wide down the back straightaway. But yeah, Chad's a pretty good shoe.
Well, Falkingham pancaked that number 39 against the wall down the back straightaway. The 24 push, and there goes Schoonover, and we've got a big wreck in turn at number 4, and that will bring out the caution flag. The 99 at Tommy Ryan was one of those involved in multiple cars scrambling as you enter the tri-oval area. Paul, we're going to bring up the Raze Energy replay, and we're going to see Falkingham down the back straightaway pancake the wall. The 24 goes 4 wide, and then the Schoonover machine, I believe, or one of them gets a little bit sideways there.
Yeah, big time damage. We actually saw a little bit of contact from these drivers, and there was a little bit of a glitch in the matrix, as it were. You'll be able to see here on the replay that some of these drivers had the tires doing some kind of weird thing. But we'll take a look from the spotter stand. You can see 4 wide here. It's a 99 car trying to make up some ground. You can see Wes Hogan, the 20 Home Depot car. He's down low. Jonathan Goke in the middle line there. You can see 3 wide, the 99. A little bit of contact with the 76 and the 39. And, man, calamity ensues after that. Lots of drivers there. You see Kyle Casagrande does a great job. Doesn't hit anybody, but it looks like he heads down the inside wall there. Richard Beasley driving through that down at the bottom there in the Tide Ride. Good clean spot there. And, well, there you see Kyle Casagrande loaded up on the 48 car. So, tough break for him. Tough break for a lot of these drivers from basically mid-pack on back.
So that'll bring out our first caution flag of the evening, and it should bring everybody down to pit road. Chad Coleman scored as your leader, and he is going to come down and get service on his race car. Dwight Beverly listed ahead of him as they come down onto pit road. The 08 of O'Leary coming down, and Brent, I don't think there's anybody staying out on the racetrack other than the pace car.
Maybe just one person staying out there, but looks like just about the entire field came to pit road. A little bit of strategy. Looked like a couple 2 tires there, Tim.
You've driven these race cars before, maybe not necessarily at Daytona, but would you take 2 tires here early in this and try to pick up a little bit of track position?
I think that you just saw the result of maybe not being in track position right there. Some people at the back, getting collected in the big one, so to speak. So I think if you're up at the top, there's always a saying, you want to be ahead of it or really far behind it. You never want to be in the middle. So 2 tires to get you up there, or 4 tires and kind of hang back, make your pick.
Not sure Dwight Beverly had any damage or anything to his race car, but him and Thomas O'Leary spent a long time on pit road. They're going to be near the back of this field. Chad Coleman is about mid-pack with those 2 tires, and or actually I think he took 4, and a couple of drivers in front of him may have took 2, but we'll see how this all shakes out as we Collect the field behind the pace car. The 99 of Tommy Ryan is the first one in behind the pace car. He may be staying out to try to lead a lap. The 21 of Stefan Meredith, a former winner in this series, running in second. Chad Coleman behind the pace car in third. Matthew Baker, who I believe went through one of the Consi heat races earlier, and EJ O'Rourke, the 5 that are in behind the pace car. And it looks like Kyle Casagrande has called it an evening. He has disconnected from the server. We're going to lose a few from that wreck, big wreck, and no fast repairs, no quick repairs. So looks like we've lost a couple already, showing Josh Cox 6 laps down. Jimmy North has scored his 2 laps down. He is still sitting on pit road. And then a couple of others that are 1 lap down, including Jamie Dobbs, Bill Schoonover sitting on pit road, and Kyle Casagrande, of course, has called it a night, and Brandon Browning is scored as 1 lap down. Everybody else at this point scored on the lead lap or on the tail end of the lead lap as the pace car and the field works through the corner. We're going to step away for just a few moments' time. Go grab a ice-cold Raze Energy. We'll be back with you in just a few moments' time from the Daytona International Speedway. This is the Raze Energy 150 for the Vidane SuperSpeedway Series.
Hey, I'm CTWE Wrestler The Mac.
And I'm Showtime Stevie Stamos.
Have you ever dreamed of owning your own race car and taking it out for a test drive? Well, thanks to our friends at Rent-A-Racecar, you can!
Visit www.rent-a-racecarne.com for all the details on how you can take one of these babies out to Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the races.
Touchdown!
Racing action on Tim's Corner Motorsports is presented by Pache Motors, the largest Ram truck dealer in Atlantic Canada. Browse their inventory online at pachemotors.com. Tranquility. Help for anxiety is only a click away. Learn more by visiting tranquility.app. Finish Line Vinyl Design, the official decal supplier of Tim's Corner Motorsports. Like them on Facebook at facebook.com/finishline vinyl design. And by CB Warren's Auto Care.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to the Vidane SuperSpeedway Series. Still working on the video as we've returned to green on lap number 11 of 60. Your leader is Kevin Brown through the middle of the middle groove. He's picked up the lead over the number 30 of Brian Macklin, the 38 of Chad Coleman to the inside. Richard Beasley giving a little push to Bobby Wetzel in car number 9, the 41 of EJ O'Rourke on the inside. As you see them rush by your screen, we've completed 11 laps. Brian Macklin will lead that last lap with the 93 of Kevin Brown to the outside.
pack racing here at its finest, Daytona International Speedway. Seeing a lot of these drivers up front, they were able to come down pit road, get a little bit of fuel, maybe take 2 tires. Some drivers took 4 tires, and some drivers took gas only. Brian Macklin, seen him up front in a lot of these races, and always a shoe-in for a Super Speedway Series win here, especially here in the Vidane Racing Series. Been racing with Vidane for a very, very long time, that number 30 machine.
He's been racing with SIM500 for a long while, too. I believe he is the Trans Service Cup Series Rookie of the Year from 2020, so trying to build on that for 2021, but trying to build and pick up a victory here in the Super Speedway Series. To the inside he goes. He'll pick up the lead from Kevin Brown. Great to see Bobby Wetzel up here in the 9, started 21st. He is in position number 3, or the second on the outside, and EJ O'Rourke giving a little help to the 38 of Chad Coleman, and Richard Beasley in car number 10, third on the outside line, trying to advance his position a little bit. Had to come through one of the heat races, started deep, 31st in the field, and now he's up into the top 5. Kevin Brown will come by this time with the lead ahead of Brian Macklin. He will lead lap number 13. Brent, what are your thoughts here so far as we complete this 13th lap?
I'll tell you what, these guys are really minding their P's and Q's up here, and like you said before, I had a chance to run with a couple of these guys who are up at the front, and you know, some of them are pretty good pushers. These cars, their bumpers don't totally line up, so you can't really get up there and push anybody, but they're doing a pretty good job.
Good to see Joey Gattina up here as well. The head honcho at SIM500 has made his way up into the lead pack, and he will run on the inside in the 4th place spot on the inside. Him and Jason Netherly, I believe, nearly had a moment a couple of laps ago. The 34 got a little bit free to the inside, but Mr. Gattina is going to be joined by a couple of familiar faces to the Super Speedway Series. Jonathan Goke in the 24, Wes Hogue in the 20 moving up, and Matthew Baker, who had to come through the heat race, one of the last drivers to transfer in through the heat race. Now on the outside line of this lead pack, but falling back is that outside line led by Bobby Wetzel. Here comes Brian Macklin to the outside. Macklin trying to make something happen for the lead position as they work down the Super Speedway or super stretch into corner number 3.
How about all these throwback paint schemes? I know, you know, show them age a little bit here that, you know, you grow up seeing the Tide Ride or the DuPont car, and even a Sam Hornish Kodak car throwback down back there in this pack. It's really cool to see these NASCARs of yesteryear.
And a lot of these drivers run this ARCA National car with the official series that is on iRacing. But dating myself a little bit here, this is the former Nationwide or Grand National car that used to be run here on the sim, the first generation Grand National car per se for iRacing. It's now gone down the list to become the ARCA National car, and a lot of these drivers are familiar with it, especially a guy like EJ O'Rourke who goes to the outside. He's won a B-Fix championship before. I don't think it was with this race car, though. I think it was with the current B-Class car, but he'll go to the outside, and he'll lose a couple of positions here by the looks of it because he's the only one on that outside line, but he tries to gain a little momentum, gets to the right rear quarter of Bobby Wetzel as they try to pick up a spot. Richard Beasley, I don't know if he knows where he wants to go. There's going to be some lap cars up here, so EJ's going to get back to that middle group. Daniel Falkingham heavily damaged in that 39 car. He's going to lose a lap here.
I think Richard really cut EJ a break there and seen the lap traffic coming, and just kind of gave him a little spot back there to hang out. But he's going to try it again. Here goes EJ to 3 wide, looking for a second spot in that high groove. Makes it work.
Yeah, he slices down right in front of Bobby Wetzel. Brian Macklin, EJ O'Rourke are teammates. That's going to work for EJ O'Rourke. Going to have Chad Coleman pop to that outside line and try to pick up the lead on Kevin Brown. He'll do so, move the 38 of Coleman to the top of the board one more time. And he's got a couple of satellite friends, teammates, whatever you want to call them. I know Macklin and EJ, and they all joke together after these races. But when you get into the race car, and it'd be the same way as it is with Neps. You guys are all friends over there, Brent. But once you strap the helmet on, you still want to go to the front and still want to win, right?
Oh, for sure. And sometimes you want to beat your friends a little bit more, too. You get a little bit more competitive. I know in the Neps side of things, we have our own chat rooms within Discord that, you know, the main the guys from the state of Maine have kind of adopted me as the sole Canadian, since I'm the closest to them. And, you know, I hang out there with John Peters and Evan Bollier and Wyatt Alexander, and, you know, we have a good time. But, you know, when you're racing side by side with those guys, you just want to beat them that much more.
So wait, where did John and Wyatt finish on Thursday night?
I don't want to talk about Thursday night.
Okay, well that's they finished 1-2, Paul. I think they were pretty good at. Do you remember, Paul, where that 26 car finished?
Was it the 26 or was it the 2 car? Because I remember we were trying to find the 6 in the 26, and we couldn't find it.
We found it. It was in Oxford. The 6 was in Oxford. No, we had a pretty good run going, but just got into a racing incident there with Kenny Kibbe. He got his nose to the inside. I kind of tried to take it back, and, you know, he did what I would have done and stayed there. And, you know, we went for a little spin, and then passing so hard at Oxford, not like it is here at Daytona, where you can go from the front to the back in one lap. You can, or the back to the front in one lap. You couldn't pass too much there. But anyway, it is what it is. So on to the next one.
Side by side up in front here, Paul, and you kind of saw it on some of those wide shots coming out of the corner that a lot of these drivers outside this top 10 pack or so, now that they got side by side for the top 10, they're kind of strung out and kind of single file. You've done a lot of these super speedway races as a driver. Do you like the way this is playing out right now?
I do, and I can tell you right now that there's definitely some strategy being played right now, and I want to take a look at the 11th place position right now. The number 20, Wes Hogue. He's up in that lead pack. Doesn't quite have, he's not right on the back bumper. He's just got a little bit of a cushion in front of him. Definitely still has the draft, which is great news. But right behind him, our very own as well, Kyle Young. He's actually in the shift marketing and design ARCA car, which is pretty cool to see that. And we took him around the lap, around the track there at Lime Rock in the Angry Tree Guy race a few weeks back here on Vidane TV. But those two guys, they usually up here in the Vidane TV booth, kind of working together, sticking right together. A couple cars in front of them. They got the 24 car of Jonathan Goke, so they're trying to keep an eye on that Diet Pepsi DuPont machine, the throwback there, if you will, the Jeff Gordon paint scheme, because those drivers definitely have worked together in the past. And I'm just sifting through the scoring, timing, and scoring. The champ, Jarrett Bolliard, similar strategy, but a little bit further back. Number 79, Jarrett Bolliard, back here in 21st position. Just kind of riding around, logging laps at this point.
Came up through that heat race, had to get there. Him and Jonathan Goke kind of rode around in that heat race and fell to the back at the end of it. Now Jonathan up there with his teammate Wes Hogue, and you would have to think that Jarrett wants to get there, but 21st place right now, a little ways back. You mentioned Kyle Young, though. I want to give a shout-out to Kyle. Qualified in for the Jim Hallahan 333 tomorrow, which you'll see at noon Eastern on Vidane TV. Won his heat race, Brent. He'll start position number 6 tomorrow for a guy that calls himself, you know, a dirt short track guy, dirt oval guy, you know, super speedway guy. He's not too bad on those asphalt short tracks either.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had a pretty solid run there, and you know, pretty excited for him to roll off 6th there tomorrow. In that, you know, he calls himself the Enduro King as well. So it looks like that's going to be 333 laps at Bristol Motor Speedway is going to be definitely an Enduro of sorts for sure.
Gonna have to survive that one, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But there's a second groove we saw during those heat races there today, so I'm excited to see what we can put on tomorrow here on Vidane TV. But up in front, speaking about putting on a show, how about the two teammates, EJ O'Rourke, Brian Macklin, side by side for the lead position. Chad Coleman pushing EJ. You got Bobby Wetzel on the outside pushing the Dollar General number 30, and we've got a third line forming, and it looks like Matthew Baker stuck up in the safer barrier. He'll lose a ton of ground. The 34 of Jason Netherly, who was up there earlier battling with Joey Gattina, has now found his groove once again to the outside line as they work down the back straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like business is starting to pick up here as we get working lap 24 of 60. These guys are, you know, tightening up a little bit. We got a couple lap cars that are going to come up on, but you know, still minor the P's and Q's for the most part. But you know, you can tell the intensity is starting to pick up here a little bit.
Couple more lap cars about to go in the rear view of the leaders. There's Daniel Falkingham one more time, going another lap down to the 39 and trying to hold on out here. We talked about him being up in the point standings. We don't usually talk about the point standings because it's when you're in this series. You're right on board with Nick Hurd in the number 12, but Daniel Falkingham, Brent, sits 5th in the point standings. So if there's a driver that, wins twice, you get in on points. If you're Daniel Falkingham, you got to get every single point you can. Big wreck.
Oh, a big wreck here going into 3. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 involved. The 87 does a good job missing it, and the 54 does a pretty good job of slowing down.
And it's
missed that as well.
It's Daniel Falkingham. So we talk about him and those points that he could have got. He's not going to get them. Raze energy drink replay, and Paul, this doesn't really look good on the 39.
No, trying to figure out exactly what went down here at for the Raze energy drink instant replay. Kind of tough to see. It looks like the 39, Daniel Falkingham, was doing well enough. We were kind of talking about him a little bit, and we're actually going to back the replay up just a bit here. He was a lap down. It looks like he just lost another lap, and we'll pull up the instant replay from the spotter stand and take a peek at it. And you can see there's Daniel Falkingham, the 39 car, up in the top. He's in the red. He moves all the way up to the wall to let everybody get down low. There's a car in the wall there. Not really sure what the deal was there. But 39 just kind of letting the field go. He's got some damage from an earlier wreck, and he kind of rejoins the back of this pack just a bit. Just waiting for these cars to get on by. And then there's a second pack here, and this is where it gets interesting. You can see the drivers come up, and not really sure what the deal was there. I don't know, but it was definitely a big hit. The 25, the 1, the 72 involved. Big damage on the 39. The 87 skates by on the grass there, and 54 gets woed up enough. But, man, a lot of tore-up race cars here. I'm not really sure what the deal was with the 39 of Daniel Falkingham.
Can we get another replay of that and maybe look on board? I think it's the 1 car that he comes up on, or comes up on Daniel Falkingham, that we might be able to see here a little bit, and take that little ride on board, Paul, and maybe see if that helps at all.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Gabe Butler, the race winner here for race number 1, and we can see that looked like a hard left turn there from the 39 of Daniel Falkingham. Man,
that is tough. Take maybe one more look at it. There's Daniel Falkingham there, and
I think something that broke there. It looked like it wasn't too smooth.
Yeah, something definitely amiss there. Daniel Falkingham wouldn't be one of those drivers to take a turn like that. But we'll have the 1 car who won the season opener, as Paul mentioned. He's already locked into the championship 10. He's already locked into that race for the belt. He's done for the evening. Daniel Falkingham, heavy damage. He's probably done for the evening. Or the great thing with these ARCA cars, Brent, and you've known it for a little bit with some of the NEPS races that have gone a little sideways for you. You can sit there and get that car fixed. The problem is it's probably going to take a half hour or so to put the upper control arms back into place and shift everything around. And the good news is that we're just shy of the halfway point here, about 24 minutes in. So, I mean, if Falkingham really wanted to sit there and get that car repaired, he probably could.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes it takes a little bit to get it fixed up, but let's not forget how long it takes to do a caution lap here at Daytona. So, when it comes to that, time's on his side a little bit there. So, it's not the end of the world, but it does take some time to get those things fixed up. We see him. Looks like he's coming off pit road there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Falkingham coming off of pit road, scored in position number 34 right now, 2 laps behind the pace, and not in line for a free pass. I don't think at this point Gabe Butler is off the racetrack. We might have lost a couple ahead of him. Eric Laurie is not in the servers, so Daniel might be in position for a free pass or two if we get a couple of quick cautions here. Field had gone down pit road. E.J. O'Rourke is scored once again as your leader. Brian Macklin, Jonathan Goke, Bobby Wetzel, and Kyle Young in the Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series car in position number 5 last time by as they paced. Joey Gattina runs in 6th. Chad Coleman, Kevin Brown, Jason Netherly, and Wes Hogue unofficially your top 10 as we pace under the caution flag. The 3rd, I believe, of the evening. And so far, so good. We've seen some great racing out of this ARCA car. Paul, I'm going to quiz you. What do we have coming up in the next couple of weeks for this series? What kind of combinations do we have off the top of our head?
Off the top of our head, I don't know, but you can check out the website, sim500.com/series. Scroll down just a little bit there, and you can click on the Saturday night logo, the Vidane TV Super Speedway Series. Looks like we're heading to Talladega next, and iRacing Super Speedway after that. And we're going to slide right into the championship round of one. That's going to be at the end of the month, January 30th. That's going to be at Talladega as well. So Talladega, iRacing Super Speedway, Talladega, Daytona, iRacing Super Speedway going to round us out the rest of the season.
And we are getting ready to go green flag racing one more time. The top two were on it. Bobby Wetzel caught sleeping on that outside line. Jonathan Goke still in third behind the two teammates as they get up to full song, heading towards corner number one. And Jonathan Goke got that run and put it on the back bumper of the Gary Mercer trucking number 41, but can't really do a whole lot with it. Brian Macklin is without drafting partner, and it's definitely without drafting partner because here comes Bobby Wetzel to the outside.
Looks like he's going to get put in the middle there in the sucker hole, but I'm not sure who the 14 is going to go with. He's going to go to the outside with Mac. Oh, he changes his mind. He's going to hang the 9 car out. As, looks like the 9 car made Macklin made the wrong move there. So he's going to go backwards a little bit, and looks like EJ is going to pull out to sole possession of that lead.
Jonathan Goke picks up position number 2, and Brian Macklin finds his way to the outside, still with Joey Katina on the back bumper. Kyle Young doing fairly well to the inside as well. Just barely made it into the show this evening. Qualified 22nd, and 27 cars to log in on time. But now battling for position number 3 as they work down the back straightaway. Field trying to find a place to run here. We saw it takes about 2 or 3 laps to get these guys single file, at least out in the back, Brent, where you kind of want to ride and kind of want to log some laps. But these guys up in front mean business. They're trying to position themselves to win this race. They'll come by this time and have half the race completed. 30 laps down and 30 laps to go.
Absolutely, and like it was mentioned a little bit earlier, is you want to be ahead of the trouble. So you want to be up here in the top 5. Look where Kyle is there, sitting top 5th position on track, 3rd car on the inside. That's a great spot to be in to hopefully miss any action that you might not want to be a part of. And then just below or just back, in the 20th or so position where the guys are strung out single file, that gives you some breathing room if something does happen. But right there in the middle of this hornet's nest, if something happens, you're kind of along for the ride.
Field works by Daniel Falkingham one more time, the 39 on the apron, trying to get whatever he can out of this race. And looks like we've got a new driver in the top 10 that we haven't talked about a whole lot this evening. How about Dude Conrad in the 15? Worked his way in, limped his way home in that first heat race. The 15 is now in the top 10, sitting in position number 10 to the outside of Jason Netherly as they work through corners number 1 and 2. The 30 of Brian Macklin on that outside line, leading that second groove, and gets that run at a corner number 2. Will drag race down, and he gets turned. He gets turned. The 30 of Brian Macklin turned around by Joey Gattina. Caution flag will fly, and we're going to lose a few more cars out of this one.
I think that's a very good product right there of how we mentioned earlier. These bumpers just don't line up, and if you don't hit somebody very square, well, it's a very good indication right there what'll happen.
Paul, we saw it live, but take us through it again on the Raze Energy replay.
Pulling it up now, taking a look from the spotter stand, you can see it. Joey Gattina really trying to figure out who he was going to work with, and he gets right in the back bumper of the 30 of Macklin, and he thought he hit him square, but he just turned him right up into the wall. It's definitely a tough break. You see the 15 gets a big chunk of that. 44 gets by Wes Hogue, points leader. Points leader's in it. Kyle Young's in it. He's spinning around there. Big time damage for those guys. A lot of cars here. The 34, the 12. Big time damage for a lot of these front runners. Really going to shake up the end of the race here. But
you know who gets through it? Let's back that replay up and go on board with the old tide ride. Richard Beasley got through it. He had to mow the grass in the infield to get through it. But Paul, let's take a little ride on board with the the number 10, the Tide Ride, Tim's Corner Motorsports number 10 here.
Yeah, well, nice cleanly making his way through Tide puns and all that. Sees the sparks, the sheet metal flying. Hard left turn, you can see just really cranking on that wheel, dirt tracking it down here in the grass. Really just kicking up chunks of dirt and grass and all sorts of nonsense behind him. But that doesn't matter because he's able to keep that car in one piece, no damage on it. Nice, clean-looking Tide ride there, and he's probably going to go right down on pit road here. Actually, he may very well catch up to the end of the pack. And you can see him, doesn't even downshift. Just taking his time, getting that thing back up to speed, and seeing if he can get what he can get here. It looks like pit road appears to be a busy spot here, looking at the timing and scoring jumbling, all those sorts of crazy.
Yeah, we got 3 drivers stayed out on the racetrack, led by Kevin Brown, Jonathan Gogue, Travis Turnmeyer, Jamie Dobbs, who's a lap down. I believe the first driver off pit road is Dude Conrad, but I'm not even sure if he stopped in his box or not. He did not. He missed his box coming on to pit road. So the 15 will rejoin the field, and he'll rejoin Brent about position number 5 or so as 4 drivers on the lead lap stayed out.
Yeah, and I mean, you put Dude Conrad back in that same category. He might as well stayed out too, because you miss your box, or maybe we'll see him swing back in, and track position isn't so key to him. Because remember, we're only lap 34 or 60 here. We've already seen a couple times. A lot of things can happen.
Paul, we're halfway through this race. What are your thoughts so far on round number 6?
I don't think he thinks a whole lot.
I think he's a little tied up right now. He's just
I would say.
You see the field coming off of pit road, or waiting to see some of those cars move again. But Kevin Brown, Jonathan Gogue, Travis Turnmeyer, Jeff Ryan in behind the pace car. Jamie Dobbs is there as well, but Dobbs has scored as a couple laps down, I do believe. Indeed, he is. He's 8 laps down. He'll come down onto pit road this time at the tail end, and a lot of those drivers, Brent, coming off of pit road now. I believe there's a lot of damage being repaired to these race cars.
Absolutely, and you're seeing a few of these guys trying to get out ahead of the pace car. One guy, I'm not sure who that is, sitting at the end of pit road, but get caught the end of pit road being closed and have to wait for the field to go by. So unfortunately, they're going to fall a lap down. A couple of these guys are going to fall a lap or 2 down, trying to get those cars fixed, but you got to stay on top of where that pace car is. I've been caught a couple times myself.
Paul's got a Raze energy in his hand now. He's just returned. What do you think of this race so far? Round number 6, halfway through. What are your thoughts?
Well, that puts us at the halfway point of the season. Halfway through this race puts us at the halfway point. So, man, it's been crazy. Big-time pack racing here. Lots of, we saw a prime example. The bumpers not lining up, and I was going to make mention before that last caution. It's really the first time this season we've seen a lot of Vidane regulars, Vidane OG crew, as it were, up in the front, mixing it up with some of the SIM500 originals as well. So, pretty cool to see the mix. When worlds collide here, SIM500 Vidane Racing. Great race here so far, and you can see Kevin Brown up front, Jonathan Gogue. Kevin Brown's already won. Jonathan Gogue still looking for that first win. And EJ O'Rourke up there, he's won a race as well. So, man, it's going to be crazy here in the second half of this race.
We've already seen a lot of crazy so far, a lot of big wrecks and a little bit of attrition starting to pile up. I believe we are sitting at about a half dozen or more cars out of this race already due to the attrition that we have seen thus far as we get ready to throw the green flag one more time. Pace car is in. It is Kevin Brown, OKB, up in front, getting ready to see the green flag one more time. And we are back underway. Jonathan Gogue to the outside. Travis Turnmeyer, Brent, I think it's the first time we've talked about Travis all night long, though he started in position number 4, but back and forth a little bit. He sits in third on the inside line, second car, giving a push to the 93.
Absolutely, and like I mentioned, maybe some of these guys are tired of hanging out back and dodging the landmines here and there. Have a couple new faces up towards the front, and let's see what these guys can do.
And we'll see some of those other drivers get a little bit closer, try to get closer back towards the front of the field. Heck, Glenn Campbell is up here in the 44, the Trans Service number 44 on the outside line. He's in the top 10 for what might be the first time this evening. We haven't talked about him all night long. Started in 15th, knocking on the door of a top 10 run. One of the primary partners on the Trans Service Cup Series, coming to SIM500, or coming to Vidane TV on Monday nights, beginning in February. That's a huge jump for that Trans Service Cup Series. If you've never seen them before run, tune into Vidane TV in February. You're going to see a lot of big names come back to the airwaves with SIM500, the 3-car of Jeff Ryan, giving a little bit of a push to the 17, or from the 17 of Chad Cole, getting that little bit of the air pocket you talked about earlier, Brent. The 3-car is going to go to the lead.
Absolutely. You see the 17 packed a lot of energy back up on his back bumper, but that 24 car, strong as ever, going to come back a little bit on the inside. We'll see who gets the lead at the stripe here. Looks like the 3-car is going to be able to get it.
3 in the 24. Where have we seen that before play out at Daytona? They are going at it. We'll be side by side. Jonathan Goke got that thing cranked to the inside, and he will try to take the lead away from the black number 3 on the outside. Kevin Brown, Travis Turnmeyer, EJ O'Rourke, and Richard Beasley among those on the inside, with Joey Gattina trying to get his way a little bit closer to the back bumper of the Tide Ride, but it is the outside line with the momentum, and the top 3 come from the outside to the inside. It's Matthew Baker getting a inside run, and look what they did to the 3. They hung him out to dry. Chad Cole will go to the top of the board.
Chad Cole assumes the top position, and the 3-car is going to stay on the top side, see if he can get, we mentioned that 44 car a little bit earlier, knocking on the door of the top 5 now, and let's see if he can push that 3-car up past the leaders here.
Matthew Baker had to come through a qualifying race, as did Chad Cole. The top 2 had to come through the heat races, and now they battle up in front, side by side, and in behind that outside line. Kind of had a couple of new faces hop up there. Glenn Campbell, 3rd place on the outside line. Tommy Ryan in the 99. He's got Chad Coleman in the 38, and Thomas O'Leary also a part of the outside line as they begin their march towards the front to position themselves for the final third of this race to put themselves in victory lane and the championship battle royal for the belt at the end of this Vidane SuperSpeedway season. The 17 at Chad Cole will lead Jonathan Goke down into corner number 1. The 93 at Kevin Brown in the back bumper as we got one more going another lap down. The field will work to the inside of the lap car, and they'll work down the super stretch.
You can really see when the cars get lined up bumper to bumper and packed up tight. That's when they start to surge ahead. And we've seen that bottom line get organized a little bit better than the top. And we see the 17, the 24, and that 93 coming to the front, pulling away from that top groove. A little bit of a gap back there too. I think that's Chad back there, fourth car on the inside groove, but looks like he's coming back up as well. But the top side is trying to form up again and see if they can make another run for the top spot.
It's actually the 54, Travis Turnmeyer, trying to get up there with EJ O'Rourke stuck on his back bumper. The 21 is also making a move. That's Stefan Marinick. Haven't talked a whole lot about him this evening, but we've talked about him in a few of our previous races, picking up podium spots. The 10 of Richard Beasley, also on that inside line. The outside line being led by Matthew Baker, and the 3 of Jeff Ryan as they come out of the corner and race towards the start-finish line at 19 laps remaining for the field, including Chad Cole. We still have 24 on the lead lap. The next up on the list to go a lap down is your point leader, Wes Hogue, in 24th.
You see these guys, the solid pack 2x2x2x2, as the great Tony Stevens would say, a high-speed pace lap going down the super stretch here, the backstretch of Daytona International Speedway.
They put that lap on the 20 of Wes Hogue, and Brian Macklin will be the next one. You talked about big names that were in this race and got taken out either in the last caution or the caution before. They're limping around here trying to get points. We see it with Daniel Falkingham on the apron as the field works by. We saw it with Wes Hogue as he just went a lap down, trying to maintain as many points as you can with most of these races. They would probably be behind the wall, parked it for the night, not worth it. But you've got about a dozen cars or so, Brent, right now running around this racetrack off the pace, damaged, but trying to maintain what they can in points.
Absolutely, and you know, to the average viewer, they might not know exactly why, but let's remember that, you know, let a couple of these cars tangle and they have too much damage to continue. All you got to do is get 1 or 2 more laps past those guys, and you gain those positions, you gain those points, and sometimes it can come down to 1 or 2 points, which, you know, 3 positions here in this race makes all the difference for your championship hopes. So, you know, there's you know, very big credibility for having to stay out there and gain those points. We get 3 wide here for second spot, the 41 to the 3rd group.
And he's trying to bring Chad Coleman along with him. Matthew Baker was thinking about it, and we almost had another big wreck in front. They're 3 wide for what is now 2nd place, and 3 wide for 5th place as the 3 has a little bit of company to the outside of the 38 of Chad Coleman. Daniel Falkingham has called it a night. He has retired from this race, so the 39 will be sitting back a little ways back in the field, but still gained a few spots, currently scored in 31st position. 3 wide stack, 2 deep for the lead. In the middle, it is Matthew Baker, and last time by, he was scored as 2nd to Chad Cole.
Keep an eye on this outside groove. You got EJ O'Rourke leading Chad up there on the outside of the 38 car, and those two, Chad's, I know specifically from experience, Chad's one of the best pushers in the field. Keep an eye on those two. Even though it's only 2 cars up there, they're going to get hooked up in tandem, and you can see them starting to march towards the front.
How about a reigning champion, Jared Bolliard? The 79 has finally made his way up here into the lead draft. He thinks it's time to go. The 79 is just knocking on the door of the top 10. He's right behind the 08 of Thomas O'Leary. You got Glenn Campbell in the mix as well. The 79 currently scored in 11th position. The 14 of Joey Gattina to the inside of him as EJ O'Rourke goes a little bit wide in corner number 1, a little bit wider than he wanted to. Now the top 2 are 2x2. EJ O'Rourke has fallen back to a battle for what is about position 3 or 4, but they get that run down the back straightaway. Chad Coleman pushing the 41 of EJ O'Rourke, and he may push him to the lead, but I don't think he's going to be clear.
No, he just can't get out there far enough just yet, but they're still working away, and they got lap traffic coming up, so we're going to see 4 wide here in the lead. Man, I tell you what, there's a really good show of how good these guys are to get by that.
Had to give just a little bit of room, and it was just enough for EJ to squeak by on the inside and still allow those 2 cars to the inside of him to race, and we stay green flag racing. The 14 of Joey Gattina trying to get that inside line along with Glenn Campbell rocking. The outsider, the extreme outside's kind of lost a little bit of steam, and here comes Jonathan Goke to the outside. Goke trying to pick up the lead on the 17 of Chad Coleman. Here comes that 3rd groove to the outside. Coleman and EJ O'Rourke trying to go to the lead, but they're going to lose that steam as they enter the corner.
Yeah, it looks like when they get into turn 3, they come unhooked a little bit, and that's when they start to fall back just a tick. But you see Coleman getting back up on the bumper of O'Rourke. Goke moving up the lane, trying to cover them off, give him a little bit of a side draft a little bit there. But it looks like Chad Cole is still hanging tough on that bottom groove and is holding on to that lead for now.
Got about 14 cars or so in this lead pack, and then a little bit of a gap back to the next couple of drivers in line, just barely holding on. As Wes Hogue said in the heat race, give yourself a little bit of an arm's length for these guys up in front of you, because with them going 3 wide, stacked 4 deep, something is bound to happen, and when it happens, it's going to happen quick. You want to make sure you have a little bit of room to adjust and room to get by it, as we saw with that last wreck with Richard Beasley, was able to crank it down to the apron and get by everything as Wes Hogue goes a 2nd lap down to the field. Lap number 49 now being worked on the board, so 12 laps remaining in the Raze Energy 150, and something's bound to happen up here. These guys are racing hard. They're doing a great job doing so, but one small mistake, we've seen it already, could cause a big one. We almost saw it there with the 24 Goat going to the outside and almost getting into EJ O'Rourke. They're going to come up on another lap car here.
They did a pretty good job of keeping it straight. There it is. The 38 gets clipped by the 24, and they're all into it here into turn 3.
That's a big wreck. They're still wrecking the 17 of Chad Cole. Big damage to that car. He got pushed into the infield by somebody, and he's barrel rolling on the inside. That was Dwight Beverly that pushed him down through the grass. And when these cars get sideways, it's hard to collect them, and it's kind of hard to figure out where you are. You're just trying to get by it. The 79 of Jarrett Bulliard went through the infield as well, got caught up in that accident, and we're going to be a few less cars as Paul Strickland Jr. queues up the Raze Energy replay to see what happened there.
Yeah, big old wreck up front, took out just about everybody. Just taking a look, trying to sift our way on through the footage here and figure out exactly what went down, but you made mention of it a couple of times there, Tim. 3x3x3 for the front, almost 4 or 5, 6 rows here. Something was bound to happen, and unfortunately it definitely did happen here. But take a look here. This is the leading up to the wreck. There you see Jonathan Goke on the inside of the 24. EJ O'Rourke up high, and he saw that shot live. He kind of gets a little bit wobbly there and seems to collect it just a little bit. But unfortunately, when EJ O'Rourke came down, he tried to bring Chad Coleman with him around that lap car, and just really brings everybody into the wreck. And 38 is involved. Pretty much everybody's involved at this point.
I know Jonathan Goke and Chad Coleman are exchanging words in the server. I can't hear what Chad Coleman is saying because he's on the voice chat, Brent. I think there was Jonathan Goke kind of expressing his question of Chad's religion a little bit in the text chat in the server. But looking at that replay, the 38 of Chad Coleman trying to get by, and Jonathan doesn't really give him a whole lot of room. He had about a half lane. They could have shifted down to the inside. And we kind of saw it a couple of times when they were lapping cars before where there was a little bit of give and take. Now, mind you, they are racing with 11 and a half laps to go, but there's still plenty of time to make that move. You really didn't have to cut your slack there. I think right there, I think you could have gave a little bit of room.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's hard to say. We're definitely being armchair quarterbacks a little bit, and not sitting behind the desk of the steering wheel. But I agree with that, Tim. I think the 24 car did have a lane to the inside. He could have gave the 38 a little bit more room, and lived to fight another day. But it is what it is now. So. It's as we always say, it's the boat we're in, so we got to deal with it the way we go forward.
So,
but I was going to mention this just before this happened. You could kind of feel the intensity start to pick up. There were 3 wide, 4 deep, and I noticed that Tide car was just still hanging out back, and it looked like he made it through that without a mark.
Yeah, Richard Beasley right now is sitting on, didn't check that, he is, last time I scored in position number 8, and looking at that car, it looks fairly clean from this angle. It's 4th place right now, in behind E.J. O'Rourke, Jarrett Bulliard, and I thought the 79 had caught some damage through that wreck, and it looks fairly clean. He should be okay. Gale Brooks, we haven't talked about Gale all night long. The 18th place starter tonight, currently running in position number 3. Richard Beasley will line up to the outside, and I believe 5th will be Joey Gattina through all that. Randy Yoakum, there's another name we haven't mentioned a whole lot this evening, had to come through a heat race, is lined up in position number 6. Travis Turnmeyer, Thomas O'Leary, Raymond Rittenauer, another name we didn't really mention all night long up until this point, in 9th, and Aaron Smith, who started 36th, is up to position number 10. So there's some names that the car is clean, Brent. I think everything looks good on some of those cars in the back half of the top 10. They've conserved enough to potentially pick up a good points night here, or maybe even a win in the closing laps.
Absolutely. I mean, we still got a few laps to go here, so we could re-rack them and do that all over again. You just never know, right? And, if you got a car that's still in good condition, then it's drafting well, you hook up with somebody else that still has a car in good condition. You never know. The two of those guys, like we saw EJ and Chad Coleman, hook up on the outside groove and just kind of go try anyway to see how far they could go. You had 3 or 4 cars in the second and the bottom groove, and you only had the 2-car tandem at the top. So, these guys in the top here seem to have pretty clean cars, like you mentioned. And we are fixing for a good finish here.
We'll see what these guys can produce with 8 laps remaining in this one. The Gary Mercer Trucking, car number 41 of E.J. O'Rourke will lead. Your reigning Vidane SuperSpeedway Series champion, Jared Bulliard to the outside. Gail Brooks, Richard Beasley, and Joey Katina. Your top 5 pace car is in. Green flag is out. We are back underway as the 41 car will lead the field. And there goes the 79 quickly to the inside.
And I think I noticed a little bit of a wrinkle in the rear spoiler of that 79 car. I'm not sure how that's going to handle the draft. We see Beasley really charging on the outside. And like we mentioned about damage, that 8 car seems to be clean too. So look for them to make a charge here on EJ coming down the stretch.
Richard Beasley going to the front of the field, trying to lock himself into the championship fight for the belt. And E.J. O'Rourke had a little bit of a hit from behind from Jared Bulliard, or he got a little bit loose at a turn number 2. Going to set him back on the inside line just a wee bit. The 10 of Richard Beasley hops to the inside, and the Tide Ride will lead at a corner number 4, and we'll try to get that lap led, but I don't think it's going to get there. The outside line has gained a little bit more momentum, and it's going to be Randy Yoakum going to the top of the board for the first time this evening. And about 10 cars or so really tucked up tight together in this lead draft up front.
And how about O'Leary there in the second spot on the outside row? Like you mentioned earlier, Tim, we haven't talked about him all night. Here he is fighting for the win.
The same can be said for Aaron Smith in behind him, that bright yellow number 70 car sitting on the outside, third place there. And where did Kevin Brown come from? From the back to the front, Kevin Brown to the extreme outside. Working 3 wide, he'll pick up 1 on Glenn Campbell in the trans service number 44. So move him back up into the top 10. Here comes the Home Depot car down to the inside, looking to pick up 1 more spot. I believe that might be Nick Hurd as they come across the line to complete 1 more lap. That lap will go to Richard Beasley.
You see Richard sticking to that yellow line with EJ behind him, but Yoakum working that second groove. But you see when they come off the corner, the 08 gets tucked up underneath the 8 car, and they get a little bit more momentum going down the straightaways. So it's kind of the bottom groove pulls ahead a little bit in the corners, and then the middle and the outside groove kind of pull back even with them coming down the straightaways.
70 car Smith stuck in the middle, and it looks like he might have a little bit of an issue there, but they'll continue on. The 44 of Glenn Campbell, the 93 of Kevin Brown were on that extreme high line, but they've got back to the middle groove, or the second groove to the outside. Richard Beasley and Randy Yoakum once again exchanging the lead up in front. That lap goes to Randy Yoakum, and now we have an outside line of about 6 cars. The inside line is 5 cars strong. The Richard Beasley, number 10, leads the inside. The 8 car of Randy Yoakum to the outside, and look at E.J. O'Rourke trying to muscle his way through.
Absolutely, and that 8 car is really working the side draft. And like I mentioned, it's kind of a yin and a yang with these 2 grooves, and every time we come to the stripe, it's hard to tell who's gonna win. One lap it's Beasley, the other lap it's Yoakum. So we'll see who gets this lap, and we'll see who gets it in the next 5.
They'll come by this time and have 4 laps remaining. Kevin Brown trying to get that outside line, or the extreme outside line, moving again. I think if anybody's going to surprise to the outside line, it's going to be Kevin Brown. He's got 1 win so far this season, trying to get 1 more. The inside line is a little bit disconnected. Richard Beasley, though, in the middle of the corner, going to edge out with that lead. The 8 of Randy Yoakum to the outside. Thomas O'Leary gets a shot in the shorts from Bulliard, and it allows that outside line to go, and it's an outside line of 1, but here comes Glenn Campbell. Here comes Joey Katina trying to make the move, and the Rhines are on the outside too.
Help is coming on that outside groove, and if they get hooked up, they're going to have the momentum there too. And you see the 3 car trying to get in the picture there too. They're really business is picking up here. We got coming to 3 laps to go here, and but Beasley still holding strong on that inside groove.
Joey Katina moving to the inside middle groove, trying to pick up a spot on Glenn Campbell, and moves to the outside and kind of cuts Glenn Campbell's nose off a little bit. No harm, no foul, though. Glenn Campbell will fall a couple of spots in behind the 25 car. First time we've really mentioned his name in the lead draft all night long, coming through to the inside of Tommy Ryan, and they continue to switch positions, and move back and forth, and this one is going to come down to the final 2 laps of competition. They'll see the twin sticks this time, and Richard Beasley continues to lead. Kevin Brown's abandoned the outside line. He falls in to that second groove on the outside. 2 to go right here for Richard Beasley and Randy Yoakum.
And give that lap right there to Richard Beasley. He led that one by just a whisker of that Ford Taurus. But coming through turns 1 and 2, you see that inside groove. EJ's up on the bumper. But the pair of 8 cars on the top, we're going to see if they can surge back by here on the top.
EJ O'Rourke trying to push Richard Beasley. Beasley just out far enough down that back straightaway to try to play both lanes a little bit and try to take a little bit away from Randy Yoakum. But Brent, keep an eye on that 14 car on the extreme outside. If Joey Gattina can find any drafting help, he may be able to get to the front. They'll come to the white flag this time. Final lap, and there goes Jared Bulliard to the outside. Randy Yoakum will lead the white flag lap. Can he get back here and lead the one that counts?
Man, business is... The pay window's open, as Brett Griffin would say. So it's time to go get you some. It looks like EJ's up on the back bumper of the 10 car. We're going to go down the super stretch here. You see we got somebody going to the very high side. Tim, help me out on that one there.
It's a 93 of Kevin Brown, but he's going to lose his help in Jared Bulliard. He falls back to that second groove. Randy Yoakum has the advantage on the outside. EJ blew up.
Oh, no.
41 car loses a motor, and it's going to be Richard Beasley with no help. Randy Yoakum to the outside. Who's it going to be? There goes Thomas O'Leary to the extreme outside. 3-1 at the line. It's going to belong to the 10 car of Richard Beasley. Beasley goes to victory lane in round number 6 of the Vidane SuperSpeedway Series presented by Rent-A-Racecar and SIM500. Beasley to victory lane.
He got a shot in the shorts there from somebody coming down that final straightaway. He threw a block on the looked like the 14 car, and that handed him the win right there, because right there he's only in third. And the next 100 feet he gets the win.
Yeah, taking a look at it there, the 93 of Kevin Brown goes to the inside to make it a 4-wide finish to this race. Randy Yoakum and Thomas O'Leary. What a run that O'Leary had. He's going to finish tonight in position number 3, but what a run to the checkered flag. And a tough break for EJ O'Rourke. EJ O'Rourke blew a motor coming to the finish, or at least that's what it looked like. He was probably going to finish somewhere in the top 3 if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, that shows some dedication. He was just focused on being tucked up underneath that 10 car. Didn't really care about. Look at how close that was. About, what would you say, Tim? A size 12?
Yeah, something about that. It was 12 thousandths of a second, and 6 more back to Thomas O'Leary in the 8. Kevin Brown and Joey Gattina, Jared Bulliard, your 6 drivers there, and then everybody else was trying to get away from EJ O'Rourke, and EJ's going to limp along to position number 9 at the end of that one, so still a top 10 run for him. Tommy Ryan, Glenn Campbell, Aaron Smith also in the top 10, but what a finish.
Man, that was something else. I mean, these fans watching this Vidane broadcast really got their fill on that one, I tell you.
So we're going to get these guys lined up in a second. We'll let you know from 11th to 20th place includes Raymond right now. We're the second who had a top 10 points run coming in. Be good points night for Raymond. Gail Brooks, Stefan Marinik, Nick Hurd, Jeff Ryan, Bobby Wetzel among the drivers that are on the lead lap at the end of this one. You look down to Travis Turnmeyer, Jim Brooks, Jonathan Goke, and Matt Zaccardo, your top 20. And then Wes Hogue, 2 laps down, 21st. Jimmy Coleman, Kevin Fries, Eugene Vernon, Jamie Dobbs. We're getting into these names that were involved in wrecks out of the race. Chad Coleman, Matthew Baker, Chad Cole, Dwight Beverly, Dude Conrad. Then you go down to Brian Macklin, Jimmy North, Daniel Falkingham, Jason Netherly, Kyle Young, what might have been for the 94 car, Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, Bill Schoonover, Anthony Bello, Tyler Hallahan, Brandon Brown, Ing, and Kyle Casagrande, Josh Cox complete your field.
Yeah, it was definitely a race of attrition there tonight.
Yeah.
That some guys just got caught up in some bad luck, and once the fenders get tore off, they just don't slice through the wind quite as good.
I've been doing this thing for about 20 years now, doing this sim racing thing. I think this is the first time I've ever got to interview Richard Beasley as a winner. So I'm going to take the opportunity to do it. Richard, congratulations. Talk about those last couple laps. What was going through your mind with EJ O'Rourke on your back bumper and Randy Yoakum trying to take it from you?
Oh, man, I can't believe it's the first time you've interviewed me on the win, man. I've won a lot of these things. No, I mean, I was just trying to hold my line on the bottom the best I could. I had Byron in my ear kind of spotting for me, telling me where to go, where the top line was going, where the next line was going, and EJ was pushing me and staying with me, and I was hoping we'd be out front coming to the checkers, and EJ blew up, and I got lucky and got a big shove from Joey there to get back to the front.
You've won a lot of these super speedway races, but it's been a while since you've won in this Vidane Super Speedway Series. First win of the season. You know how hard some of these are to win with all these different combinations, but you're locked into that championship race to race for the belt. Is there any pressure relief now?
Definitely. A lot of pressure relief. I just like to come out here and have fun, and now this is just an added bonus. We get to race for that belt, man. I'd like to win me one of them belts. I've been looking at them things for a while, and they look pretty sweet.
So does that change the strategy going forward in these next couple of races? Can you maybe push your teammates to try to get them into the same fight?
Yeah, I think so. I think I haven't looked to see where we go next, but I definitely am going to try to work with Chad and Daniel and those guys the best I can to get them in position to make the chase as well, or the playoffs.
You've been around iRacing for so long. You were around when this car used to be the old Nationwide car. Did that give you any sort of advantage this evening to try to drive this thing to victory lane?
I don't know. They've changed so much over the years. I don't think it's just hard with these cars. You can't touch anybody. If you try to bump draft, you wreck them. That's just really driving these things takes a lot of patience and a lot of hand-eye coordination to make sure you don't run into someone and wreck them.
Start of 2021's been good. You're going to race for the championship belt here in the Vidane Super Speedway Series. You're returning to the Trans Service Cup Series in February on Monday nights. Where else are you racing? What are your goals for 2021?
We're running a few other nights a week, but the main thing are these SIM500 leagues. These seem to be the premier leagues of iRacing. Running over here with these guys, a lot of great drivers, a lot of guys I've known over the years. So we like to try to finish as best we can in this Vidane Super Speedway and the SIM500 Trans Service Cup Series.
Who's on this race car? Who'd you like to thank for watching tonight? I know you got a quartet watching in behind you.
I want to thank the guys, down on our channel, Bill Schoonover, Byron Daly, Chad Coleman, Daniel Fockingham, EJ, thanks for helping me out tonight. Michael Sharp, Pedro Mojica. I want to thank, you, Tim's Corner Motorsports. I always got you on the car somewhere. Vidane, you guys over here put on a good show. Broadcasts are great. SIM500, all those guys, everybody does a good job. Appreciate y'all.
What about the Rickies?
Oh, yeah, the Rickies. You can't really see them. I got the stream on tonight, but it's kind of angled down. But, you can see them from the waist down now, but you can't really see the top part of them.
So you can see the business part, right? Is that what you're going with?
Right.
Congratulations. That's Richard Beasley, your winner here this evening. He'll race for the belt at the end of the Vidane Super Speedway Series, powered by Rent-A-Racecar. We'll get the rookie to the booth, Brent Roy, to catch up with Randy Yoakum, who's finished in position number 2.
All right, Randy had a pretty good run there tonight. Kept it clean and kept all 4 fenders on it, which seemed to be the name of the game. And congratulations on a second place run there, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Congratulations to Mr. Beasley there. He had a good run. You just don't know what is going to happen in these things, and we're playing a little bit of different strategy with the team, and the cautions played into our favor and gave us an opportunity to get back up front. And Thomas helped me, my teammate helped me out there pretty good for a while. And yeah, it was an awesome race tonight for the most part.
Absolutely, and we had an absolute blast up here watching it. And you guys put on one heck of a show, and had some give and take when there was some needed, and leaned on each other when there was some other. But you could definitely see the teammates at work, and the help there. And I think I said to Tim, only the difference of a boot size between first and second there. So how disappointing is it to, come home second knowing that, just that close to a playoff berth?
I don't look at it that way. I mean, I'm happy with the finish and whatnot. It is what it is. Um, like I said before, you just don't know what's going to happen in these things, and I just enjoy having a good finish at Sim 500. It's tough to get in the top 10 at Sim 500 regardless, and having a good finish is always enjoyable.
Absolutely, it's always a great thing for you and your sponsors to be in the photo finish for sure. As I always say, who helps you? Who helps you guys get to the racetrack every week?
Do I repeat that?
I said, who helps you get to the racetrack every week? Who do you got to give thanks to?
My goodness, well, Tommy Ryan, Jeff Ryan, DJ Beverly, the whole unacceptable team is. We just got a good group of guys. Thomas, we put in a lot of time. Maybe we should put in some more time. Some of these guys are pretty fast out here, but I appreciate everything that they do, and the fact that there's a lot of friendship going on there, and that's what this is all about, truly. And but shout out to you guys for helping us out here, and Vidane for putting it on. This has been a fun thing.
Absolutely. Well, once again, congratulations. Like you said, it's always a fun thing to be in the photo finish and have a good show for the team and the sponsors and everybody that makes it happen. And once again, congratulations, my friend.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, Tim. I think it looks like did you or did Paul catch up with our third place finisher, Thomas O'Leary?
We'll let Paul push those buttons and get all those important things out of the way in the production trailer. We'll catch up with Thomas O'Leary. Third place run here tonight, and a very close third place run, but it seemed like you were at the front for a little while and then kind of faded a little bit and then got back up to the front. How happy are you over a third place finish?
Yeah, I'm happy with third. I just wish Randy could have got the win there. Tried pushing him to the win, but it didn't work out that way. At the beginning, team just wanted to ride in the back and let the wrecks come and fold off. But we got into 2 wrecks and amazingly still finished third. I'm just amazed that we finished.
You've had a couple of races this season that really haven't gone your way in the SuperSpeedway Series. It seems like that's how SuperSpeedway Series racing can go on iRacing. But is this a real momentum booster and trying to turn around the season and try to make a midway push towards getting into the playoffs?
Yeah, I would like to make the playoffs, but just finishing these races sometimes feels like a win in itself.
With all these different combinations that we're running, and I know you've been around for a little bit, Randy's been around, Richard Beasley that won the race. When this car used to be the old Nationwide car, how fun was it to bring these cars back out, the ARCA National car, and do some super speedway racing with it compared to some of the other cars and the other tracks that we've run this season?
It was a lot of fun. Just no bump drafting at all tonight, so it was just getting used to that, just running with the momentum. Me and Randy were running very well there at the end. Actually, early in the race, we had to go back and try and catch him back up with the draft, and just everything played real well with us tonight, and Unacceptable team did pretty well tonight.
We see you in a lot of the SIM500 series. 2021, a brand new calendar year. The Trans-Service Cup Series starts up next month. What are you most looking forward to here in 2021? Where are we going to see you racing, and how many wins can we notch in the win column this year?
I don't know about any wins, but can't really say no on that. I've been getting a lot better with racing online, but definitely going to be racing the Transverse Series on Monday nights. Just hopefully really would like to get a top 15 in points, top 20 in points this season. Last season was my rookie year, and we made the top 35 in points, which was a good step in the right direction.
I know you got a couple of sponsors on this race car, got some fans watching, and you mentioned the team that helps you get to where you are here on a third place finish tonight. Who would you like to thank?
Most definitely thank DJ Beverly, Tommy Ryan, Jeff Ryan, Randy Yoakum, and my company, Tommy Boy Towing, out of Signet, Ohio. Just everybody with Unacceptable Racing, they've all been working with me trying to get a lot better, a lot faster on the sim. But they all just surround yourself with some good people, and they make you faster.
And a third place finish tonight for the 08. Thomas, congratulations on a third place run tonight.
Thank you.
So there's your top three in the Vidane SuperSpeedway Series Raze Energy 150 round number 6 on the 2020-2021 campaign presented by Rent-A-Racecar. And Brent, final thoughts. This is your first time here in the booth for the SuperSpeedway Series. What'd you think?
I'll tell you what, man. These guys put on one heck of a show. As with most super speedways, it kind of came down to a little bit of attrition. We see in the photo finish here, we get 1, 2, 3, 6 cars in the finish. We started 43, so looking forward to the next one. Did we ever figure out what combination we're heading into next?
I'm showing trucks at iRacing SuperSpeedway, but that could change. We'll double check. We'll get back to you on that, but you can see it next week here on Vidane TV. And Paul, final thoughts looking back at this field. You see Richard Beasley, Randy Yoakum up in front. It's kind of a blast from the past. These guys have been involved in sim racing for, you put their years together, it's got to be at least 40 years in between the two. Great to see some of the old dogs kind of pick up a couple of good finishes here. But upcoming events, we don't have a whole lot of time. We're about 12 hours away from the Jim Hallahan 333 on Vidane TV. We'll start that one at noon Eastern tomorrow. But what else is upcoming on the schedule?
Yeah, gonna have to grab us a quick nap, some quick dinner, breakfast, whatever you want to call it, and head right back into the production trailer for the Bristol race tomorrow afternoon. Kicking that off 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, so be sure to join us on a Sunday afternoon, get some racing action in. Tuesday night, Mike on the Rock returns for the Mike on the Rock 75. That's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern start time. Doubleheader there Wednesday night. The Tim's Corner Motorsports Weekly Series returns to Oxford Speedway. Showtime Cup shoots on after that. I believe they're at Vegas this week. And Thursday night, NEPS, little doubleheader of the NEPS actions. NEPS Grand National Series racing Thursday night at 8:15. And the Super Truck, the NEPS Super Truck Series, the very first race on Vidane TV, the second race of the season. They're going to be joining us next Friday night, and that's a cool little deal. And Brent, you can actually give us a little bit of insight with the team, the team environment for that Super Truck Series. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool series the boys put together. So as you saw here on Vidane, we went through the draft process. Every team, we got 6 teams all together, and everybody's got a team captain and three team members. So every team has 4 team members in total. We got the Toyota. There are 2 Toyota teams, 2 Chevrolet teams, 2 Ford teams, and most of the teams have all their trucks painted similarly. With either color differences or number differences or whatever the case. And it's the point system's really neat. You take the top 3 finishes and add those together, and that goes to the team. So it's not an individual race so much as it is a team sport, so to speak. We always say racing is a team sport, but this brings it to another whole level that, of the 4 finishers of your team, you take out the worst one, count the top 3, and that goes towards your points. So it's pretty tight there at the top at the moment. We're heading to USA Speedway there on Friday night. I'm really looking forward to that. It's our only stop on a short track. Those trucks are going to be a lot of fun to hustle around there, and personally, I really enjoy that. But people like Peters and I look forward to Libby. Ryan Libby doing well there because he's on my team. So, should be pretty fun.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to an exciting week of racing here on Vidane TV. But Do want to give just a quick little shout out here before we get going to Rent-A-Racecar. We did finally confirm the date, and speaking of NEPs, we actually talked about it this past Monday night during the Grand National Race Championship night, Stafford Motor Speedway, Friday, June 11th. That's going to be the night that Stafford Motor Speedway is going to see two, not one, but two Vidane Racing champions. They're going to bring the championship belts there, and they're going to drive in the Street Stock Series, courtesy of Rent-A-Racecar. Really looking forward to that weekend. We're going to be camping out and hanging out all weekend long, and we invite everybody that's involved with SIM500, Vidane Racing, Vidane TV, even the fans, anybody that's watching at home, come hang out with us. We're going to be partying under the Rent-A-Racecar banner at the track, camping out all weekend, cooking out, and freaking out. And the very next night, Saturday, June 12th, the opening event, the very first inaugural race for the SRX Series, is going to be at Stafford Motor Speedway. So I myself am very much looking forward to that. And, well, I guess at this point, Tim, Brent, we're going to take a quick nap and come back tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for the Jim Hallahan 333 at Bristol Motor Speedway right here on Vidane TV. We'll catch you then, and we'll see you. We'll catch you on the flip side.